From Daily Trust News Center, this is News Hour.
On News Hour tonight, blind students cry out as food shortage hits Adamawa boarding school. Hepatitis B infection among children under 5 worries Zamfara state government. Butchers in Katsina recommend camel meat for human consumption. And on the foreign scene, European Union gives Croatia final approval to adopt euro currency in 2023. Hello and welcome to News Hour on Trust TV. I'm Darshan Hussaina Usman. The news in detail. Blind students of Dada Special Education Boarding House have made a passionate plea to the Adamawa state government to come to their aid. The cross-section of students who spoke on condition of anonymity said sometimes they spend 2 weeks without getting a meal from the school. The students claim that even when they get the food, it is not suitable for or safe to eat. They say this forced many students to go out to the streets begging for alms, a situation that is demeaning. An anonymous source said about 1.3 million naira is earmarked monthly for the feeding of the students, comprising primary, junior and senior secondary school sections, but to no avail. Speaking to Trust TV, principal of the Special Education Center, Adamu Alhaji Umaru, said in the past they received assistance from government, non-governmental organizations, Central Bank of Nigeria, philanthropists, religious groups, and the rest. But according to the students, the help does not reach them. A Kaduna-based newspaper publisher, Tukur Mamu, says no money was paid through him as ransom to secure the release of the 7 victims of the Abuja-Kaduna train attack. The Kaduna-based publisher, who has been at the forefront of negotiations with the terrorists to secure the release of the victims, said 11 were earlier released through his efforts and that of security agencies. The report.
After the attack of the AK-9 Kaduna-Abuja train, many people were abducted by the terrorists, while some killed. The Kaduna-based publisher Tukurmamu, who has been in the forefront of the negotiation with the terrorists to secure the release of these victims, 11 were earlier released through his effort and the security agencies. Though Mamu announced his withdrawal from the negotiation, but he facilitated the release of the recent 7 victims. He says the media report that 700 million was paid as ransom to release the victims was unfounded.
The claim that the sum of 800 million naira was paid, I think it is unfounded as far as I'm concerned. I gave my own car that went to the forest. I was there even though I didn't enter that place. And the people that were rescued, they can bear testimony if there is money that was given or not.
When asked about the fate of the remaining victims who are still in the custody of the terrorists, he says nobody can determine when they will be released.
What I'm encouraging the government is that I have succeeded in opening a door that hitherto is not there. So they should explore this means as a responsible government and ensure the release of these innocent victims as soon as possible. It is something that I repeated that can be done within 1, 2, 3 days. It is something that can be done. That is why I even told them that if you people cannot do it, give me the mandate, give me the go-ahead, give me the support. I will take responsibility if I did not succeed.
While attributing his withdrawal from the negotiations to threat from some quarters, said that the 7 victims recently rescued from the hands of the terrorists, confirmed that members of the terrorist group escaped after the Kuje prison attack arrived the forest before their release.
Some of them threatening you, because to some extent what we are achieving is exposing the ineptitude of some of them. What we are achieving is exposing the incapacity of some of them. I'm the first person that alerted the nation after this jailbreak that the same people that attacked the train are the same people that went to Kuje and freed their people. They are the same people. And this has been confirmed by the 7 victims that we succeeded in rescuing. They said even before they left that place, virtually all of them that were released in Kuje are there in the bush. They have confirmed.
With the withdrawal of Mahmoud from the negotiation with terrorists, relatives of the abductees are now left searching options.
In health, Zamfara state government worries over children under 5 infected with hepatitis B. The Executive Secretary, State Primary Healthcare Board, Dr. Ismail Tukur, made this known during an awareness campaign on the disease targeting the 14 local government areas of the state.
The Executive Secretary, Zamfara State Primary Healthcare Board, Dr. Ismail Tukur, disclosed that there are 19 million cases of hepatitis B in Nigeria. It is against this background that the Zamfara state government is conducting free screening exercise and creating awareness to residents of the state on prevention against the disease in the 14 local government areas of the state. He said the idea is to identify those with hepatitis B and prevent it from spreading further. Dr. Tukur explained that the source of transmission of hepatitis is vertical, from mothers to children. It is for this reason and other reason he said they are targeting women of childbearing age, adding that the state government is offering free screening exercise and vaccination to guard against the spread. He advised women to ensure they deliver their babies at health facilities so that after 24 hours the baby can receive the hepatitis B vaccination, which efficacy is between 80 to 90%.
What is actually happening is implementation of baby show and also awareness creation on hepatitis B vaccination and also screening of hepatitis B. So, and if you look carefully, you find out that we are also integrating all other services like nutrition, routine immunization, COVID-19 vaccination, childbirth spacing activities, and all other basic services that are being provided. So this is the aim, to integrate services and also ensure that they are being delivered in an integrated manner.
The Executive Secretary said the board is carrying out integrated services such as baby shower, nutrition, routine immunization, COVID-19 vaccine, screening and awareness creation on hepatitis, among other things.
On insecurity, gunmen suspected to be bandits along Katsina Jibia Road have attacked some Salah celebrants who are returning to Jibia from Katsina. They killed 1 and abducted 2 others. The incident reportedly took place around 9 p.m. on Monday at a village called Kwarere along Katsina Jibia Road. The deceased, Anas Adamu, was a final year student of Federal College of Education, Katsina. A friend of the deceased, Muhammad Aliyu, told Daily Trust that the bandits had used some firewood to mount a roadblock along the road when the 3 private cars of the victims ran into them. The police public relations officer in Katsina, SP Gambo Isa, said the command was yet to be briefed on the incident. The Independent National Electoral Commission on Tuesday said it has completed 12 out of 14 activities on the election timetable. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu disclosed this in Oshogbo, the state capital, at a stakeholders meeting attended by the Inspector General of Police, Usman Al-Kali Baba, the Ooni of Ife, Oba Adeyeye, Eniton Ogunwusi, as well as governorship candidates and representatives of political parties in the state. Hamid Oyegbade now reports.
The Osun State governorship election will hold on Saturday, July 16th. It is the last major off-cycle election before the 2023 general election, which is just 227 days away. Chairman, Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC), Mahmood Yakubu, says necessary arrangements have been put in place to ensure a successful poll in the state this weekend. The INEC chairman said the only two outstanding activities are the last day of campaign by political parties, which ends at midnight on Thursday, 14th of July 2022, and the election day activities on Saturday, 16th July 2022. While assuring residents that the election will be free and fair, he called on the people of the state to play their part to make the entire process successful.
And specifically sections 121, 126, and 127, there are specific penalties dealing with bribery, conspiracy, dealing with electoral offences on election day, and dealing with undue influence. And each of these sections, 121, 126, 127, prescribe punishment ranging from fines to terms of imprisonment or both.
The Inspector General of Police, Usman Alkali Baba, said necessary arrangements have been put in place to ensure adequate security in the state throughout the election period.
I also wish to assure that the personnel of the Nigeria Police Force and indeed all other security agencies that have been mobilized to complement the police shall remain impartial, calm, and professional in the exercise of our statutory duties as provided for in the Electoral Act as amended and other enabling laws.
The Onyobife, Oba Adeyeye Enito Ogunwusi, warned politicians and their supporters against electoral violence to ensure a peaceful exercise.
You are not greater than a show. You are not greater than the state. The state is greater than you. Anything that is greater than you, there is a limit that you can do. Please, we are praying and begging and appealing to all of you, do not incite the youth of our very peaceful state. Do not use every means of desperation that you want to get there by all means. Let us leave everything to God Almighty. People know what is right, they have a sense of right and wrong in terms of what they want to do, in terms of who they want to support. Let us leave everything to the people, let us leave everything to the electorate, and let us leave everything to God Almighty.
That report was filed in by Hamid Oyegbade as presented in our studio. Moving on, the Inspector General of Police, Usman Alkali Baba, has deployed senior police officers for the July 16 governorship election in Osun State, promising tight security for the exercise. According to him, the police will not hesitate to arrest and prosecute anyone found wanton throughout the period of the exercise to be conducted by the Independent National Electoral Commission. He gave the warning on Tuesday at the stakeholders meeting organized by the Electoral Umpire in Osogbo, the state capital. He also said 21,000 security personnel have been deployed for the governorship election. This deployment, according to the IGP, is not meant to intimidate law-abiding citizens, but tame undemocratic moves. He assured eligible voters to go out and exercise their franchise without fear, saying the 332 wards of the 30 local government areas of the state will be well secured. The Federal High Court has issued new practice directions that allows for virtual hearing of cases and electronic service of notices on lawyers. This is to provide for a fair, impartial, and expeditious determination of pre-election cases. The new practice directions, which was issued by Chief Judge of the Court, Justice John Oho, forbade judges from granting more than 2 adjournments to any party in an election dispute. It also provided that interlocutory issues touching on the jurisdiction of the court shall be suspended and delivered at the stage of final judgment. In politics, Nollywood actress Funke Akindele has put her acting career on hold as she becomes the running mate of the People's Democratic Party Lagos State governorship candidate Olajide Adediran. Confirming her deputy governorship candidacy on Tuesday, the actress stated that her acting career must be necessarily put on hold. According to her, this was a sacrifice she had to make to rescue the people of Lagos State. The actor, who acknowledged that the decision is a huge personal sacrifice, noted no sacrifice is too big for the actualization of the urgent mission to rescue Lagosians and the state. The chances of the Labour Party winning 2023 presidential election appears slim, going by lack of structure and the needed national spread. An Abuja-based political commentator, Jide Ojo, said this while featuring on the Trust TV flagship program Daily Politics on the emergence of running mates to presidential candidates of the party. Trust TV's Shafi'u Suleiman reports.
Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi had picked Senator Yusuf Baba Ahmed as his running mate. Jide Ojo is of the opinion that the Obi-Datti ticket is a winnable one, with the pairing of a technocrat and an academic, but will likely be hindered by lack of solid political structure at various levels to market the candidates.
Obi is like a rolling stone, moved from APGA to PDP, from PDP to Labour Party. Buhari, with all his court followership in northern Nigeria, and go and check the records of Buhari from 2003, he already have name recognition pan-Nigeria. Former head of state. Buhari could not win in 2003, in 2007, in 2011, until 2015. Why did he win in 2015? The structure that we are talking about.
Speaking against the backdrop of monetization of Nigeria's electoral space and presence of two powerful and rich politicians as presidential candidates of the ruling party and the major opposition party, Ojo said this will further jeopardize the chances of the emergence of a new political powerhouse.
When you bring technocrats, people who are called politicians will tell you, this is us. As they say, there is no, INEC will not count your prayer points. We saw it during the primaries. Those who are very eloquent, very articulate, very this and very that. What was their performance during the party primaries? Money is the name of the game. Can these people spend APC or PDP?
The build-up to the 2023 elections is seeing unprecedented youth interest in the country's electoral participation, which is triggered by mass mobilization by other political parties, threatening to change the political landscape, which is expected to increase the turnout of voters. Shafi'u Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Former gubernatorial aspirant of the All Progressives Congress in Rivers State, Tonye Princewill, has resigned his membership of the party following the announcement of a Muslim running mate by the presidential candidate of the party, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Princewill, in a letter addressed to the party chairman, said he cannot argue for equity in his state and defend inequity in his country. He said though he appreciates his leader, Rotimi Amechi, and all his efforts, he can no longer defend the decision of the APC in fielding a Muslim ticket. He warned that the move by the party has set a dangerous precedent and described it as insensitive to believers of other faiths in the country. Still talking politics, the senatorial candidate of the Nasarawa South Senatorial Zone of People's Democratic Party, Mohammed Ogoshi-Onawo, has decried the decision taken by the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Bola Tinubu, to run on a Muslim ticket, saying it is insensitive to the existence of different ethnic groups in the nation. The former House of Representatives member stated this in an interview with Trust TV in Lafia, the state capital, on Tuesday. He said although Tinubu has the right to choose whoever he sees as capable of ensuring victory for the ticket, the decision was, however, divisive and capable of further dividing the country along religious lines.
Inasmuch as somebody will want to argue that it's not the religion that matters, it's the quality of the people that are going to be put forward to serve the country. But we must know the workings. We must think that God did not put us together for nothing. In a family today, you find Muslims, Christians, sharing the same mother and father. And they should not be discriminated against because they are not of the same faith with us.
You're watching News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up after the break, camels, beyond sports and transportation. Do stay.
To every politician, as the campaigns gain momentum and passions begin to rise, remember, the errors of your opponents do not make you a success. Do not run down your opponent and inflame passions to violence between and among your supporters. What counts is what you plan to do for the electorate and how you intend to relieve their sufferings and bring succor. Nigeria is in dire need of patriotic leaders at all levels, leaders who will make national development their priority. Concentrate on telling the electorate what you intend to do when you get into office. Focus on making your vision clear to the electorate. Don't engage in verbal abuses, fake news or speeches. Keep dealing with issues that will bring progress. You win the hearts and minds of the people by being above board, by being civil, patriotic, and showing empathy. Let's join hands to make the 2023 elections peaceful. A message from the National Orientation Agency.
That's great. It's good to see you.
Nigerians, elections are here again. Let us shun violence. Let us play the game according to the rules. Do not be a thug. Say no to violence. Let's rise and defeat violence, crime, and sabotage against the peace of our nation. Nigeria is the only country we have. We must do everything to keep it united. We must avoid any act that promotes hate and disintegration. Say no to separatist movement, terrorism, fake news, hate speech, religious bigotry, and any act that tends to divide us as a nation. Watch out for strange gatherings and suspicious movements. Restrict access to sensitive documents and data, the disclosure of which may damage national security. Educate your staff and family, particularly on measures to safeguard information and report security breaches. Apply relevant legal security guidelines to protect yourself and your neighbors. Due to misinformation and wrong choices, some idle persons resort to vices in their greed to get rich quick. They resort to kidnapping, killings for rituals, and other heinous crimes. Avoid wrong use of the social media. Before you broadcast that false message, think twice. Ask whether it will promote peace or violence. For safety at home, still be security conscious. Educate your household on safety tips. Report all suspicious movements and persons to the security agencies nearest to you. Be a good citizen. Be patriotic. To pass security information, please call 0813-222-2105, 0915-339-1309, 0908-837-3514, or send a mail to dsspr@dss.gov.ng. This message is from the Department of State Services, DSS.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. You're still watching News Hour on Trust TV. Here's a recap of our major stories. We told you that blind students cry out as food shortage hits Adama boarding school. You also heard that hepatitis B infection among children under 5 worries Zamfara state government. Moving to other news, President Muhammadu Buhari on Tuesday in Daura had an emotional reunion with his primary and secondary school mates who came to pay homage to him as part of the Salah celebrations. In a statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, he says the President inquired about each individual well-being, their health and well-being of their family members. They prayed for the repose of those that died between last year when they last met and this year as well. President Buhari, who was elated at the meeting, said the reunion ignited childhood memories they created as youngsters. The leader of the class association, Senator Abba Ali, commended the sacrifices the president had been making for the nation and urged him to remain focused. They later presented a gift to the president and joined him in a memorable group photograph. The Uja of Anaguta and paramount ruler of Jos North Local Government Area of Plateau State, Johnson Joro Magaji, has urged Muslims in Jos to continue to live in peace with their Christian counterparts in order to foster unity among them. The monarch, who stated this on Monday when the Jos Muslim community paid him a Salah homage, said all communities, irrespective of ethno-religious background, must tolerate one another for peace to reign. The royal father, while commending the Muslim community for ensuring a peaceful Salah celebration, said he has received information from security agencies and other stakeholders that the community leaders had preached peace in the build-up to the celebration. Earlier in his remarks, the Makama in Jos, Sani Ma'azu, who spoke on behalf of the Muslim community, said the homage was a tradition inherited by their forefathers that helps to strengthen the relationship between Muslim and Christian communities.
Honor to pay the homage to the traditional council or the Uja of Anaguta, Jos, who is the president, Jos Joint Traditional Council. And the gathering is very significant to the history of this palace and Jos North Local Government and Plateau State as a whole.
Well, it's a tradition. This is not the first time we're starting this. It's been, with us from our foreparents. We got it from our predecessors. It is normal in tradition that immediately after Salah, you go to the first-class traditional ruler and report to the first-class traditional ruler the situation, of the Salah. If it is peaceful, like the one we just had, you report to your leader that it was peaceful. If there are issues, you tell your leader that there are issues. But alhamdulillah, this Salah happened peacefully, so we are reporting a peaceful report.
Camels are unique animals used in transporting goods from one place to another, especially in Arab countries and sub-Saharan Africa. Camels are also a showpiece as people ride their backs during festivities, while as a beast of burden, the animal can work for days on a farm. What people don't know is that in northern Nigeria, less is known about how the animals are slaughtered and processed for consumption. Abdullahi Amadi visits Katsina Abattoir and tells us more.
Camels are found mostly in the desert, arid and semi-arid regions of northern Nigeria, Niger Republic and other North African countries and the Middle East. One of the amazing features of camel is that the animal can go without water for 14 days. This is because of the inbuilt reservoirs camels have, which can last for many weeks.
Ko mutanen da likitoci suka hana cin nama da yawa sun bari. To amma yanzu sun dawo dalilin.
We sell more camel meat here than other animals, and the reason people prefer it is because they believe it cures some ailments. This is because the animal eats a lot of leaves from different species of trees.
Wanda yazo shi kuma na raƙume ke so gashi akwai sabanin dai kada mutun yazo babu abin da yake so.
In Katsina State, hundreds of camels are killed every day. After separating the meat from the skin, both are processed for ready consumers.
Camel meat is nice and is okay. Because of that one is sweet. The sweet is different than others. That is why.
Camel meat is redder in color than other animals, but it takes more time to cook than cow meat, ram meat, or goat meat. Experts say meat and milk from camel have high nutritional value, as important as its urine, which they claim is also medicinal.
Most especially, if you come to the proteinous side, it is very proteinous. It is low in cholesterol and low in fat, and it contains high mineral, that is from iron, calcium, potassium, magnesium, and the rest. And it is also high in vitamin. Camel milk have a nutritional benefit to the body. As I said, it's almost the same thing with the meat. It is used in curing some skin diseases. So medically, we don't advise of camel urine.
Necessity, they say, is the mother of invention. Many farming communities, especially in northern Nigeria, are beginning to embrace the use of camel, as it is easier to maintain and difficult to rustle. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
As Nigerian population hits 216 million by November, experts have warned that the current population growth rate has consequences if not speedily addressed. A cross-section of respondents in Abuja expressed concerns over the rate of the population growth. Musa Luka reports.
Population is one of the human factors to be celebrated in the society. Any society that fails to grow in population is at risk of extinction. This gave rise to nations to track down their population growth to harness their social realities. But in most cases, with high population, there is expectation of great human capital, higher economic growth, and production capacity, among others. In Nigeria, census was conducted in 2006, marking Nigeria's population to 143 million. From 2006 to date, there is an increase with 73 million, marking Nigeria's population to be 216 million, making the country the sixth most populous country in the world. However, experts have warned that the current population growth has consequences if not speedily addressed. They said there is need for government and all stakeholders to take urgent measures to address the situation. Abuja residents expressed irritation with the government's inability to harness the population for national development.
It's supposed to be a blessing, but we fail to utilize the number. Because, for example, in China today, anything produced in China, if you own a company in China, first of all, you are sure of the markets in your country because the population is there. But in Nigeria here, where the government failed to educate the citizen, many of us are not employed. Many of us are not educated. So, in other words, the population has become a cause, because if you check what is happening in the country today, is the insecurity, the hunger, this is linked to the high population that government failed to plan for.
Nigerian population, instead of being a blessing, is a cause to Nigeria, because the government have failed to prepare for the incoming population, and hereby making the population to be a cause to Nigeria.
The number of people is always a blessing. Singleness does not fight a war, whether it is poverty or military or banditry or terrorism. I think it's good, it's population to invest. But then we must inject adequate, sufficient guideline to maintain life, housing, where to live, and then the job to do, yes, and then what to eat. This is the something of life.
Musa Luka, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Moving to crime, the Edo State Police Command says its operatives have killed a suspected notorious armed robber in Benin City. The Deputy Police Public Relations Officer, Jennifer Iwegbu, disclosed this in a statement on Tuesday. The command spokesperson explained that the divisional police officer in charge of Ugbo Division received a distress call about an armed robbery operation. The police responded and were engaged in a crossfire with the suspects. According to Iwegbu, the police operatives overpowered the suspects, killed one of them and recovered some items including a pump-action gun and 5 live cartridges. The Akwa Ibom State Police Command says its operatives are on the trail of a roadside patrol dealer in the university town in Orukanam local government area of the state. Police Public Relations Officer in the state, Odiko MacDon, explained that the suspect was declared wanted for setting a 200-level student ablaze. It was gathered that the victim had bought petrol worth 500 naira from the suspect and later discovered it was adulterated when it failed to start his generator. He was reported to have returned the petrol to the seller and demanded a refund of his money from the suspect, an action that resulted in an argument between them, which led to the suspect setting the victim ablaze. The victim was later rescued by villagers, students, and the Vice-Chancellor of the university alerted. You're still watching News Hour on Trust TV. We'll be back after the break.
TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Nigerians, elections are here again. Let us shun violence. Let us play the game according to the rules. Do not be a thug. Say no to violence. Let's rise and defeat violence, crime, and sabotage against the peace of our nation. Nigeria is the only country we have. We must do everything to keep it united. We must avoid any act that promotes hate and disintegration. Say no to separatist movement, terrorism, fake news, hate speech, religious bigotry, and any act that tends to divide us as a nation. Watch out for strange gatherings and suspicious movements. Restrict access to sensitive documents and data, the disclosure of which may damage national security. Educate your staff and family, particularly on measures to safeguard information and report security breaches. Apply relevant legal security guidelines to protect yourself and your neighbors neighbors. Due to misinformation and wrong choices, some idle persons resort to vices in their greed to get rich quick. They resort to kidnapping, killings for rituals, and other heinous crimes. Avoid wrong use of the social media. Before you broadcast that false message, think twice. Ask whether it will promote peace or violence. For safety at home, still be security conscious. Educate your household on safety tips. Report all suspicious movements and persons to the security agencies nearest to you. Be a good citizen. Be patriotic. To pass security information, please call 0813-222-2105, 0915-339-1309, 0908-837-3514, or send a mail to dsspr@dss.gov.ng. This message is from the Department of State Services, DSS.
Welcome back. Still ahead, Kano State Consumer Protection Council says it has confiscated 487 bags of expired flour worth millions of naira in the state. Acting Managing Director of KSCPC, Baffa Baba Dang Agundi, made the disclosure in a statement issued by the council spokesman Musbahu Yaka saying Kano on Tuesday. Baba Dang Agundi said that the council was informed about the expired flour which was brought to Dawano International Grain Market, Kano. He stated that the flour was confiscated following the raid carried out at a warehouse situated at Dawano Market, Kano, on Sunday. Dang Agundi added that the council also confiscated many cartons of expired drinks at Muhammad Abubakar Rimi Market, Sabangari, Kano. We will now join Chamunda Bang for business news.
An intense conflict has developed between the discos and the government as a result of Fidelity Bank's planned acquisition of 3 power distribution companies and the federal government's restructuring of 2 further companies. Findings reveal that discos have continued to file new lawsuits in an effort to avoid being taken over by the government and the bank. According to data acquired from the Federal Ministry of Power, power generation peaked on July 9, 2022 at 3,992.6 megawatts. However, on July 10, 2022, it dipped to 3,908.8 megawatts. Power generation on the grid as of 6 a.m. on July 11, 2022 was 3,851.31 megawatts, suggesting a loss of 141.3 megawatts when compared to figures reported on July 9, 2022. This is according to data from the FMP, which further decreased this on Monday. Data released by the Central Bank of Nigeria shows that in April, the manufacturing sector shrank for the second time. According to the Deputy Governor of the CBN's Financial System Stability Directorate, Aisha Ahmad, continued interventions, especially in growth-enhancing sectors, is therefore critical to sustain momentum in economic activity and stimulate aggregate demand, especially in view of the Manufacturing Purchasing Managers Index, which contracted for the second consecutive month at 48.9 index points from 49.1 index points in April 2022. Member of the Monetary Policy Committee, Robert Asogwa, stated that the growth in Q2 of 2022 may be less than that of Q1 based on high-frequency indicators that are already accessible, such as the Manufacturing Purchasing Manager Index and the MAN CEO Confidence Index. Nigerian Oil and Gas Industry Content Development Act has been implemented, and the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board (NCDMB) has announced 7 ministerial regulations that it claims would provide an appropriate framework for monitoring this process. According to Executive Secretary of the NCDMB, Simbi Wabote, the regulations were created in accordance with Section 40 of the NOGICD Act, which grants the minister the authority to do so in order to define the minimum requirements for training facilities, personnel, and technology. Additionally, he pointed out that the legislation for the continued development of indigenous capacity establishes goals to guarantee the full utilization and constant expansion of indigenous businesses involved in exploration, the processing of seismic data, reservoir studies, and other facilities. That's all for business news. I am Chamun Dabeng.
Twitter Incorporated has fired back at Elon Musk, accusing the world's richest person of knowingly breaching an agreement to buy the social media firm days after the Tesla Incorporated chief sought to back out of the $44 billion deal. In a letter sent to Musk, dated Sunday and filed with regulators on Monday, Twitter said it had not breached its obligations under the merger agreement as indicated by Musk on Friday for looking to end the deal. Instead, it accused the Tesla chief of having intentionally, willfully, and materially breached the agreement. In the letter, Twitter said the deal was not terminated, adding that Twitter demands that Mr. Musk and other Musk parties comply with the obligations under the agreement, including the obligations to use their respective reasonable best efforts to consummate and make effective the transactions contemplated by the agreement. The company has planned to sue Musk to force him to complete the deal, a threat he laughed off on Monday when he sent a series of tweets joking about Twitter and his threat to enforce the agreement in court. Twitter is planning to file a lawsuit early this week in Delaware. We'll be back after this break. Welcome back. Moving to the international scene, European Union finance ministers have given Croatia the final approval to adopt a euro single currency on January 1, 2023, replacing the Croatian kuna. Finance Minister of Czech Republic, Zbigniew Stanjura, who holds the EU's rotating presidency, said on Tuesday that it is the first expansion of the currency bloc in almost 8 years, just as the euro has dropped to its lowest level against the US dollar in 20 years. He congratulated Croatia for becoming the 20th country to join the euro area. Adopting the euro offers economic benefits stemming from deeper financial ties with the currency bloc members and from the European Central Bank's monetary authority. Still on the foreign scene, Ankara has said military delegations from Turkey, Russia and Ukraine will meet with United Nations representatives on Wednesday to discuss the safe export of Ukrainian grain. The talks comes at a time of record high food prices globally as conflict in Ukraine, the world's largest grain supplier, has fueled concerns about food security. Turkey has played a key role in talks between the UN, Russia and Ukraine on a potential Black Sea corridor to export grain from Ukraine. Ukraine has struggled to export goods with many of its ports blocked as war rages along its southern coast. Grain constitutes nearly a fifth of all its exports, official data shows. In sports, Commonwealth Game organisers have barred Northern Ireland sprinter Leon Reid from competing in Birmingham following a security risk assessment. A statement from Commonwealth Games Northern Ireland said it was disappointed to confirm that track athlete Leon Reid has been denied entry to the Birmingham 2022 Commonwealth Games following a security risk assessment. The 2018 Games medalist Reid was found guilty in February of allowing his flat to be used to produce crack cocaine. The 27-year-old was handed a suspended notice or sentence and ordered to do 220 hours of unpaid work by Bristol Crown Court. Reid was named in Northern Ireland's team, but the Birmingham 2022 organising committee has now denied him entry. We now join Adeni Ajishafe for more sports news.
Over 13 countries are already on ground for the African Track Cycling Championship built for the Moshood Abiola National Stadium Velodrome in Abuja from July 14 to 17, 2022. Secretary General Confederation of African Cycling, CAC, Bashir Mohammed, said the participating countries are Morocco, Egypt, South Africa, Burundi, Ghana, Guinea, and Burkina Faso. Others are Algeria, Benin Republic, Togo, Cote d'Ivoire, Tunisia, and host country, Nigeria. Mohammed, who doubles as the technical director of the Cycling Federation of Nigeria, says the velodrome at the Abuja Stadium is already a beehive of activities, as various countries are already putting finishing touches to their trainings. Nigeria will be represented by its 35 cyclists in the competition. And in football, Rivers United forward Chijioke Akuneto is leading the race for the Unicel Golden Boot for the MPFA highest goal scorer after hitting a brace to take his tally for the season to 18 goals. Akuneto was twice on target for MPFL champions Rivers United in a 3-2 loss at Shooting Stars in their match day 37. Chijioke scored in the 27th minute before making it a brace with a 47-minute penalty. The winger has now moved 2 goals beyond main rivals Aziz Yusuf of Gombe United and Victor Mbama of Eyimba International. Unicel Golden Boot offers Nigerian Professional Football League higher goal scorer 200,000 naira per goal. And still on football, the Executive Committee of Confederation of African Football, CAF, is considering postponing match day 3 and 4 of 2023 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers. The qualifiers kicked off in June with match day 1 and 2 fixtures decided before the football governing body in Africa officially announced the postponement of the competition from June-July of 2023 to January-February 2024 due to the climatic conditions of Cote d'Ivoire. CAF EXCO members are considering the shift in the qualifiers to allow the 5 countries that represent Africa at the 2022 World Cup in Qatar have adequate preparation. AFCON qualifiers day 3 and 4 were scheduled for September 5th and 6th, while day 5 and 6 are built for March 2024. That's sport news. I am Adeni Ajishafe.
Well, on a lighter note, let's take a look at how a small town in East China, Zhejiang, has acquired wealth from snails via a 35-year snail farming industry. Take a look.
Snail is a delicacy in French cuisine. Statistics show that 300 million snails are consumed in France every year. Snails have played an integrated part in French cuisine for hundreds of years. The French delicacy is now often served at Chinese dining tables, which has driven the growth of the snail industry.
In a small township in Jiaxing, the local people started breeding snails 35 years ago, in 1987. Today we are visiting a leading company in producing and processing snails in Yuxin Township, Jiaxing City, East China's Zhejiang Province. And this company has taken up 70% of the market share in Chinese market.
目前我们公司的产品面向全国消费市场。近几年，我们公司蜗牛产品的销售以每年10%的速度在增长，去年产值达到了7100多万元。我们相信，随着中国消费者对蜗牛产品的接受程度不断提高，未来的市场前景将无比广阔。目前，我们带动了全国7省1市的500多户农户进行家庭式养殖。我们会进行技术指导， 帮助农户做到标准化、订单式养殖，符合要求的蜗牛我们都统一收购，保障农民的收益。我们公司高度重视食品安全、标准化生产和品控，与许多中餐厅和西餐厅连锁企业都保持着长期而又稳定的合作。从农田到餐桌，我们实现了品质和价值的跨越，也希望带动周边乃至全国的蜗牛养殖户一起走向共同富裕。
Well, with this, we've come to the end of News Hour on Trust TV. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Darshan Hussaina Usman. Thanks for watching.